Hi everybody, welcome to part 3 of my Instagram trip actually. I'm thank you for my viewers, those who watched my part 1, part 2. Yeah, this journey was actually today's journey, but I think I had to just video and give every detail of my journey. Well, let me introduce this man to you in case you've not watched my previous video. This I went for a boat cruise, and this is our driver and tour guide talking about Amsterdam, how it was founded, and everything that happened in the ancient times while we go around. As in, for me though, the best way to actually see Amsterdam is actually through this boat cruise. If you ask me, like, it was everything. We touched every corner in Amsterdam, and it was really, really eye opening. I literally really encourage anybody that who wants to go for a tour, like, good. Amsterdam is like your go-to area. I don't regret my trip. There's some places I've been to and I literally don't want to be there again. But Amsterdam trip, oh god, I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again, guys. So watch the instructor and hear what he has to say about Amsterdam. I'll be forwarding the video sometimes because yeah, so I don't want the video to be too long so that my viewers don't get bored. So just listen, and I hope you can listen carefully. Though you might not hear him all the way, but at least little details of what he's going to say and information he's going to give will give at least a bit of enlightenment, eye-opening information about Amsterdam. Thank you guys for sticking with me and watch.
Look, this is really the modern time, eh? Beautiful surrounding, but what are they doing? Looking at their own universe. Now this canal, this UNESCO heritage site is made in two periods. That was 1660, we are now moving in 50 years earlier period. Not that there are many houses of the early 17th century, 1610, this part was already finished. 1660, they made continuous in the same way. But look here on the right side, it's also lovely to see that.
To your right, you can see one of the narrowest canals in Amsterdam, the bowling sloat. The interesting thing is that these houses are directly on the water, just like in Venice.
Like how do you call that? The same Venice and Amsterdam, but Venice is saltwater. Venice is it's natural laguna. Here it's all man-made. These canals, blood, sweat, and shovels. But what was also the same was money. In Venice, businessmen became richer than kings and queens. For the first time in history, businessmen were richer, more important than kings and queens. And this also happened in Amsterdam. A few hundred years later. Look on the top of that house. You see a gevelsteen with two guns. You see, two pistols. It's a gevelston. Maybe it was the profession of the man that was the owner, the first owner. The first owner, he decides what kind of name, eh? It can be something of his profession, or, I don't know, maybe this one likes to eat a red fox. That's a red fox, you see. We call that bell gable. And then step gable. The step gable has a gable with a sun mountain. I don't know why they call it like that. Here it's also, this is a frame gable, we call it, the last gable. And you see where on the top there is the coat of arms of the family, the place for it, but it's removed. But these are, further you have also the ostrich, the vogelstruis there. The house where in the middle also, a nice decoration. And next door, just a speech, a little sentence from a Bible. You know, this was all in the old time. Until Napoleon, houses had a name. And until Napoleon, this was just a very rich city of the Republic. When Napoleon made himself emperor, he said to his youngest brother, he would be the king of the Netherlands. And he was here for 4 years king. And he made Amsterdam the capital of the country. So that's since 1806 we are the capital.
Have a look at the facades of the houses we can see on the left and right of us. Here are many kinds of facades, but the most common are the step gable, the bell gable, the neck gable, the frame gable, and the spout or funnel gable. You can see that each house has a hoisting beam high on the facade. As doors and stairs in houses in Amsterdam are very narrow, moving is usually done using the windows. The stairs of these houses were this narrow because residents had to pay taxes based on the width of the houses on the canals. That is why they tried to build houses as narrow and deep as possible.
Now, look over here on the right side. Talk about narrow. See that little narrow thing? The smallest warehouse of Amsterdam. Maybe the space behind it is bigger, but it is the entrance to the warehouse here. To avoid paying tax, huh? Oh, I see the door. Is the door open? Yeah, the door is open. Yeah, the door is open. There is a nice story also because there's a two-star hotel. No, there's a house from 1656. It's a two-star hotel. It doesn't have elevator. But if you look through the door, which is open now, you can see the stairway that is very steep. So when you come with a big, heavy suitcase, what do you do? Well, they have a solution. Look under the hook. There's the electromotor. They use that. You see? They already pulled up a suitcase. Look how steep the stairway is. See? They don't expect the guest to, because no elevator. It's only 2 stars. Never gets more than 2 stars. But it's still it's expensive, huh?
2 stars. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's, you know, Amsterdam. It's crazy.
Wow.
The typical tree of Amsterdam is the elm. Elms have stood along the canals for over 400 years, and they belong to our World Heritage. There is no other place in the world where so many elms can be found together. Each spring, over 75,000 elms scatter their millions of seeds across the city.
Yeah, that's what the water is very murky, as you see, but believe me, by the water it's very clean. People in summertime, people swim in this water, not here, but in the same water somewhere where it's not so busy with boats. And you saw people fishing, yeah, there's fish in this canal. Since maybe 20 years or so, the water's getting cleaner and cleaner. Okay, the next story is of a house which was built in 1618. One of the old great houses. Mr. Bartolotti, the house is called Bartolotti House. He was not the owner. The owner was a beer brewer called Mr. van der Heuvel. He was rich, not so rich that he could afford a house like that. Hendrik de Keyser, you will hear it. Hendrik de Keyser was also the architect of the churches. You saw the Zuiderkerk, the Westerkerk, we see a little bit. Also, over there, you can see a little bit of the Western Church. But Hendrik de Keyser, the architect. Mr. Bartolotti died and he gave Mr. van der Heuvel the inheritance that made him the second richest man of Amsterdam. Therefore, he could take the architect or building master, as they call it, Hendrik de Keyser, to build this house. It's a beautiful house, eh? Better than this black one from the 70s. Next door, on that side.
On your left, you can see the Bartolotti House. This house was named after the rich banker Bartolotti. It was designed by Hendrik de Keyser. It is a very exceptional building, as it was built completely symmetrical to the curve of the canal.
Yeah, so it makes the garden very big also. You can visit this house during daytime. Normally it was one house, but in the 18th century they made it in two. That's why you see two front doors. But go and see it. Tomorrow it's open again. That's beautiful. But I can go straight on this Herengracht, but I'd like to show you another beautiful old house, a few of them in the Keizersgracht. The next canal parallel to this, behind these houses. But I have to do some maneuvering here. Meanwhile, listen to this story.
In 2010, UNESCO declared that the rig of canals made the inner city of Amsterdam a successful example of early modern urban development in Europe. Ideas about the ideal city in the Renaissance were applied to the Dutch city of canals. The regular shape of the ring of canals was created on the drawing board. Amsterdam as the best preserved 17th century inner city in Europe. In addition, the ring of canals is a symbol for the political, cultural and economic prosperity of Dutch society in the golden century.
I have to watch. You see, this bridge is very much monitored because everything moves here when cars go over it, and when it's too much, they close it for the cars. And you know, here also they have to make new sides. It's really incredible. There's a lot to be done. Look on that side, a nice little.
In many places, you will see low railings along the canals. Parking on the canal isn't completely risk-free. These railings were installed in the 60s because cars were driven into the canals almost every day. To this day, cars end up in the canals on a regular basis. We are now getting to the Keizersgracht, or Emperor's Canal. This canal was named after Emperor Maximilian of Austria, who granted Amsterdam the right to display the imperial crown of Austria above the municipal coat of arms.
Now the Emperor crown, that is on top of the armed coat of Amsterdam, you see it also on top of every light post. And when the church is finished, it will be also on top of that church, in color. But on the light post it's not in color, but maybe we'll see it somewhere else in color. So that was a gift from Maximilian in 1480, before this city was so big and beautiful. But it was a symbolical thing. A symbol. See, their house is called the King of Sweden. Actually, the King of Sweden, the family name is Bernadotte. When Napoleon was emperor, he gave Bernadotte the power over Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. And still, this family is still the royal family of Sweden. So, yeah, the King of Sweden. But more older type of house, you see the black one and the brick one, these are the oldest types, early 17th century houses. Because there's a lot of renewal in the 18th and 19th century, even in the 20th century. There's one beautiful house you can visit, it's the Embassy of Free Mind. It's the house with the heads. I'll let you hear the story, absurd story, but there's one truthful thing in it, I tell you. But
to your right, at number 123, you can see a lovely house with 6 heads on the facade. According to legend, these were the heads of 6 burglars that a maidservant beheaded one by one. This would have happened around 1622.
That's the only truth. 1622 this house was built. It's the Embassy of Free Mind. It's open for you to visit. It's beautiful, really beautiful. And it's got a great garden. There's also the garden doorway for the coaches and the horses. Because these rich people, they had coaches, horses behind their house. They had their horse stable and so on. So that's really a beautiful house. These heads are from gods. Greek and Roman, you know, Bacchus, Apollo, Mercury, that kind of people, that kind of gods.
The Red Hat. Previously, this was the largest clandestine church in the Netherlands, and it currently serves as a debating centre.
Now, it's behind these houses, the beautiful church, the Rode Hood. Now it's, sometimes beautiful music or debates or whatever. But religion, you know, it's always a strange thing in religion that there's one God, but so many different ways, and they kill each other because they don't believe in the other way. Anyway, that is a thing with religion. So also in Amsterdam, There was one major, if you want to be a leader, if you want to be a politician in Amsterdam, 17th, 18th century, you had to be from a certain religion. But, you know, Catholics, Muslims, every religion was allowed as long as you think about the money. The money was the real religion. That is, like now, actually, if you look very carefully, money is where it all comes down to. Even war. Well, it's crazy. But there's also the media that makes us crazy. Okay, so there was a lot of trading with Orient. New York was for a short time New Amsterdam, for instance. We still have the Dutch West Indian colonies. Indonesia, the Dutch Indies was the biggest colony. But it was also whaling. Look at these.
To your left, at numbers 40 to 44, you can see the so-called Greenlandic warehouses. These warehouses are some of the oldest, most beautiful warehouses in the city. They were probably built in 1622 to store whale oil for the Northern Company. All of these warehouses have now been converted into apartments.
See the chicken? Maybe bed and breakfast with fresh eggs. Look, there is a rope hanging. They're probably moving things in and out of this house with that rope. You can also rent an elevator on the outside. That's also and we don't need muscles. But, this is an easy way because you don't have to close the road. Keizerbrouwer halen Maxima. Nogmaals, Keizerbrouwer halen Maxima.
Will come back, but it needs to repair. There was a tree falling over with the storm, damaged the houseboat, so they pull it out. Maintenance is important.
It's interesting for you to know that we have over 1,800 bridges here in Amsterdam. The canals are about 3 meters or 10 feet deep. The first canals were dug in the 13th century.
Guys, hey guys, I'm here again. You had to just for this part a bit because the video was taking so long and I didn't want my voice to get bored. So this is us at this point going around. He's still talking, telling us about the bridges and every other thing. Like, just listen.
That's why you can see so many bikes parked everywhere. It is one of the major parking problems in Amsterdam. Every day, the municipality removes hundreds that have been parked improperly. Amsterdam has more bicycles than residents.
From this bridge to that side, you have the Nieuwendijk. That's a shopping center. It goes with a curve behind the Victoria Hotel to the Dam Square. Also part of this defense 800 years ago. There's the Haarlemmerdijk, the Haarlemmer Street. Now, the bicycles, you see a lot of strange parking. There's a big parking, the bicycle flat. It used to be the place where 2,500 bicycles could be parked, but it's empty because they made new parking facilities down underwater. After the next bridge behind that bicycle parking, there's 7 meter deep. New garage for bicycles, 7,000. This is empty, they will demolish it. And then we have a beautiful Irish hotel to look at. There you see the old waterfront, Central Station there. But we go to that, first under the railroad we go.
We have now left the inner city and are getting to the former harbour. Amsterdam boasts one of the largest ports in Europe. As ships were getting bigger, it was necessary to build entire new ports where even the biggest ships can load and unload. These ports are located on the North Sea Canal, between Amsterdam and IJmuiden.
Now, IJmuiden is 23 kilometers to the west. That's that way. Actually, that way. All the land you see, Station Island, there, it's all created later when they made the North Sea Canal. It's 15 meters deep there, all the way to the North Sea locks. The biggest lock in the world is there too. And you see over there the last laboratory of Shell, but it used to be all Shell terrain there with, but this used to be the harbor of Amsterdam. You see new apartment buildings, they used to build ships over there. But you see that Amsterdam is very popular. Many people want to live here. Look at the high tower, it's beautiful. There's always also a swing on top.
I'm not going to lie, guys. At this point, where we're at this sea, this particular sea, I was literally very, very scared. Well, I'm gonna do a bit of I had to fold it a bit, but it's the video is a bit fast, but I was so scared. I could imagine how deep this water was. Do you know we saw a cargo ship? We passed the cargo ship at this point, and I'm like, what? The ships you see here are transport. They are for transport, and it's actually free. Our instructor made that very clear to us. He made that known to us that this is a boat that moves from end to end, and it's free for anyone that enters. You don't have to pay a dime for that. And also, we looked at some cargo ships that were there, and look at those people swinging up there. I don't know how people take the risks of doing that shit, man. I cannot do that. No way. I'm not even going to actually risk my life in that form. God, I was like, what the hell? Then this is a mall. This is a particular mall. They said this mall was built recently. It's actually a new mall for people who want to go out, see Amsterdam, as in it has everything, libraries, you name it. It has all the stores. So guys, just watch and listen to what our instructor and our driver had to say.
On your right, you can see the Central Station, which was opened to the public in 1889. The station was constructed on an artificial island along the old open harbour front. Since 1889, the station has been expanded many times in order to keep up with the growing number of travellers.
Yeah. It's all massively changed here. What you can do if you want to know a little bit more about how it's possible to live below sea level, a little bit of the history, you want to see highlights of our country with windmills, smell flowers, go with a simulation flight over the country. This is Holland. You see with the Dutch flag? It's 1 year ago opened. It's a 5D experience about Holland. It's really interesting. I did it, and I think it's really interesting, and I'm Dutch, so. But it's for tourists, of course. But you see, it's not even finished, this whole territory. Over there is the new Holiday Inn hotel above these houses, and that will be there too. You see the cargo ship? It goes to the modern port of Amsterdam. That's 3-4 kilometers from here. On the North Sea Canal side. This is another ferry boat. There are 6 ferry boat lines. This is the F2, and this stops at night. But the short one goes 24/7. See another cargo ship going to the port.
The northern bank of Amsterdam is increasingly becoming part of the city centre. Because of the subway connection, this part of the city has gotten more accessible. Industry and businesses are moving out of the city. They give way to houses, attractive shops, and cultural amenities.
Helicopter. Maybe in future you can do a round trip with helicopter, Every modern city has got one. But it's really strange, in my youth, there were cranes here and ships. I didn't know, I didn't see them build ships there. That was stopped in the 1950s. But I remember, in front of us, that's the Java Island, we call it. It's now full with very beautiful modern architecture. But it used to be with cranes and ships being unloaded and loaded until the 1970s. Well, I'm a little bit older than that, so it's really totally changed Amsterdam. The north side, this side was, this whole A side was the place you didn't want to be found dead. It was dirty industry, totally rebuilt in a clean way. And in 2007, this muziekgebouw, the music building. Oh, I forgot to mention the white building. It's also interesting, what you saw, abstract looking. It's the film museum. It's got 4 cinemas, a restaurant. It's opened in 2012. A few years earlier, 5 years earlier, they opened this music building. So it's really cultural going on here too.
On your left, you can see the unique muziekgebouw of the Eye. This is an experimental music centre for classical music and jazz.
And then you can take a free swing. Not as high, but there's a swing there. Probably people love to swing. The Bimhuis is actually a jazz club. But behind it, you see the concrete theatre behind the glass. That's perfect acoustic theatre. It's very famous for its acoustic quality. Every 2 years there's cello biennale or flamenco biennale, all kind of choir singing. It's really a beautiful theatre for that. Danish design. With computers they find out what is the best acoustic. But there's also a restaurant there.
Booking.com. 4,000 people work there tomorrow again. This is the East Dock Island, and on that side of the railroad, everything's renewed since 2007. It used to be a post office there, where they had the night distribution. Now, this boat has to wait until the bridge turns open, the next bridge.
On your left, you can see the Nemo Science Museum, designed by the famous architect Renzo Piano. It looks like a ship, but it is meant to be a reflection of the Eye Tunnel. The Nemo was built on the entrance to the Eye Tunnel, connecting the centre of the city with Amsterdam North.
You see that? A beautiful building. Well, beautiful. We called it the Titanic when it was opened in 2007. No, 1997 it was opened. Under there is the tunnel. The road goes down like the roof goes up. That is the idea that Renzo Piano inspired to build it like this. It's a beautiful museum, and the roof, during daytime you can walk up the roof. It's a free public square. Another beautiful thing, not beautiful, another thing I don't want you to take is a smoke boat. There's a smoke boat. You know, smoking in Amsterdam, it's famous for that.
This wide body of water, the Oosterdock or Eastern Dock, was originally part of the harbour. It is difficult to imagine the hustle and bustle that was prevalent here in the 17th century, with loading and unloading of the ships of the Dutch West and East India Companies, docked here side by side.
That library was opened, the OBA. Listen to the story.
To your right is the exceptional library building designed by Joe Kuhn and constructed in 2007, declared by many to be one of the most beautiful libraries of Europe.
And it is. It's really beautiful public building, so you can go in there, read international newspapers, or drink a cup of coffee. Go to the top, have a view over the old city. Free, beautiful. Or eat Korean down there. All kind of restaurants here, or Japanese, or coffee, or pancakes, or buy a television at Media Markt. But this is all prepared for the future. 2007, 777, this was the first opening. After they built all these apartments and business, and under these buildings is 2-story parking garage for 2,500 cars. So it's all prepared for the future.
To your right, you can see a floating Chinese restaurant. It is a copy of a famous restaurant in Hong Kong called Jumbo. However, Jumbo boasts 5,000 seats, whereas the Sea Palace only has 700.
Nice food. The biggest floating object in Amsterdam, and actually the Jumbo don't exist anymore in Hong Kong. Because of the corona, the English owners decide to pull it out of the port of Hong Kong. They had too much difficulties there, and they came in a storm in the South Chinese Sea on their way to Singapore. Now it's at the bottom of the sea. But here you can have a safe meal, and it's nice, really good food. You see all kind of new buildings. There is the Hilton DoubleTree Hotel, where there's also a sky lounge.
I literally was looking at going to that restaurant, but I couldn't go because I think there was no. I don't know if there was no slot available at the moment I was going, and it was literally very cold, so I couldn't just go in.
To your right, you can see the Amsterdamse Coffee House, the Coffee House of Amsterdam. This building, mostly made of wood, had to be demolished for the construction of the subway. Once the subway had been constructed, the building was restored to its former glory.
It's also like a station, but for the public transport with boats. Long before there was the central station, this was a place where you could take a public transport boat to go all over. But it's no coffee. Yeah, you can drink coffee after your beefsteak. It's a very famous beefsteak restaurant, Lunch.
We are now getting to the end of our cruise. The management of the Koi Shipping Company sincerely hopes you enjoyed your tour and that you are pleased with the captain's sailing skills. If you would like to express your satisfaction, he would thank you in advance. Thank you for your attention. and we wish you a very
And
pleasant
yeah, we are
remainder of your
back from
stay in
where we
Amsterdam.
started. Oh, guys, thank you for watching and sticking with me. Thank you so much. Oh, guys, Amsterdam is a country. I don't think you can literally keep your hands out. You'll freeze to death. Look at the building I am in. Well, I did enjoy my boat cruise. I'm about heading back to my hotel right now. And God, guys, I would actually encourage anyone who wants to come to Amsterdam to come. Like, this is a beautiful and amazing place. Very, very lovely. Very beautiful, guys. Like, I would encourage if everyone wants to come here. Yes, Amsterdam is beautiful. It's really amazing. Like, seriously. Let me turn my camera, guys. Like, it's amazing. It's actually amazing. Like I said in my part one video, I used the metro, so I was going back to the metro. I literally branched to Dunkin's Donut to get a bit of, chum chum here and chum chum there, sweet tooths that I have. And yes, I made my order here and I literally went back to my hotel. This was in the night, guys. I haven't captured this hotel actually for anybody, but this is the view. This hotel is called the Dolphins. It's amazing. I love it, and I think I would recommend anyone to stay there. They're actually amazing. The rooms are very clean, toilet, everything, the details is actually amazing, guys. I came to eat my food. I ordered food from KFC. It took about 45 minutes to come. God, I almost died of hunger though. But when it got here, I begged the receptionist to help me warm up my food because it was a bit cold, and he did that without even complaining. Like, they have this warm reception they give you, very always smiling, very amazing staffing. Trust me, guys, I would recommend this place. Well, this is us heading back by 4 a.m. to the airport. I already got to the airport and I've already checked in my luggages. It was time to head home. I tried to do a bit of videos. Everyone was so quiet. This is like 5 a.m., guys. It was really, really very, very quiet. It was 5 a.m. Most stores were not open. Nothing was actually open, so I just did a few clips here and there. This have the Christmas decorations with them. It's really very amazing. Okay. Okay, I'm going to H. It's a bit dark. I don't know why. It's breakfast here. I'm going to get cookies. I can get whatever. Okay, it's a finest chocolate. So I'm gonna walk into this place and see if I can get chocolates. And so this is what I'm going to. So let's see the biscuits they have. One biscuit, some chocolate. Let's see. Okay. Let me see. Stumble around. I've always bought something every time I'm traveling. I don't even know what they did to this section with me. It's so amazing here. Okay. Which flavor is this one? Oh, the dark chocolate. Okay. At this point, guys, I just bought some rum and I left. So this is like the airport. You can see it's actually closed. It's just single stores are still closed. Nothing is happening here at this point. Yeah. And I'll be using EasyJet back to England. I said to do a bit of video. I went closer. Oh God. Our flight was for 7:45 thereabout. So yeah, we had to do a long wait. Finally, I was able to board. At this point, I was able to board. I just sat down in the aeroplane. And I'm like, God, I'm so tired and I'm very, very sleepy. Nobody understand what it means to wake up almost like 3 a.m. and you're heading back to your country, as in you're heading back to your country of residence. Like, it's so difficult. I was so tired. But I was grateful I did this. This journey was an experience. I enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for watching and stick with me. Bye-bye.